welcome. All right, we live. Chat, how y'all doing? Happy Wednesday. Thank you for being here live or after the fact if you're watching after the fact. I'm Joel. I just got back from Los Angeles day before yesterday. Still tired. Still exhausted. What a fun weekend, though. Shot episodes for Garage the Gathering. Hope y'all had a good weekend. Hope y'all are having a good week so far. Randy, what's up? Solarverse, what up? Cold Truth, I see you there. Craven, what up? Dino, what up? On paternity leave. Nice, dude. Grats on that. Yeah, Dino, absolutely. I appreciate you swinging through. Any chance we can talk about the Marvel precons? Aeropressor, I mean, we can look at them. I'm pretty sure that we only know the commanders as of right now, right? What are you wondering about them that we'll be able to answer right now? I bet there's some deck lists we can look at. Mostly I need to update my own decks. I went live today because I was going to be working on commander decks anyway. Worked on decks heavily before the weekend, obviously. We shot 6 episodes of Garage. Whole bunch of short form. Yeah, I got the D&D drop. Chat real quick. Want to shout out the sponsors of the channel. Card Conduit, best place to sell your cards quickly and easily. If you get an order in before February 14th, a shipment in with them before this Saturday, you're going to get 20% off your fees when you use code Joel for their Valentine's promotion instead of the regular 10. So if you're thinking about selling some cards to Card Conduit, now is the time. This is the week to do it. I got a stack over there myself. If you saw my pre-modern video yesterday, I've been going through my old chunk of my collection that I figured was just sitting in a box and gathering dust forever. But suddenly my Calls of the Herd are $20 each. I'm never playing that card in Commander, so I'm selling it to Card Conduit. Get your shipment in before this weekend. Use code Joel when you check out. You get 20% off your fees. If you're using code Joel, otherwise, on any other time outside of a promotion, you'll be getting 10% off your fees. Think of a TCG player? Best place to buy your cards on the internet. Have stores compete for your purchase. Dragon Shield's the best way to protect your sleeves. And Moxfield, which you'll see a lot in the stream today, the only place to put your deck lists on the internet. And new today, chat, you may have noticed, I posted a video earlier today. I've been working on a side project that is now live and in the wild so that we can get some public testing of it going. If you're on computer, if you're on PC, if you're on Chrome specifically, right now it is a Chrome extension. We'll have further expansion of the entire system soon. But right now it's a Chrome extension and you can play our new game called Packpack, which is a interactive collecting game that runs right over my stream. Just for hanging out, you'll be earning pack points passively for free. And then you can use that free currency to buy packs of cards. Those packs of cards have art cards with some really cool art by human artists and items that you can use to dress up your pack pal. Type !extension in chat and it should give you a link and you can go download that extension and start collecting pack points right this minute. That's the plan for today, chat. I'm gonna update some decks. Brad, I appreciate you. Niv, what's making it hard for you to put your decks in the right power level, do you think? There we go. Nightbot is running. Looks like we are off to the races. Just your vibes. Am I disappointed with Doom? I don't know, Aeropressor. It's hard to tell. Let's take a look at it. We can at least look at these commanders real fast before I start deck building. Marvel Superheroes. Marvel Superheroes Commanders. So we've seen the Fantastic Four, and then we've got Captain America Team Leader, Doctor Doom, King of Latveria, and T'Challa, Black Panther. Cap is red, white, and blue 3/3. Whenever another hero you control enters, it gains vigilance and haste until end of turn. Put a +1 counter on that hero and a +1 counter on Captain America. Pretty straightforward design, honestly, but should be fun. Captain America leading your heroes. It's not anything particularly exciting, but hero kindred. Here's your commander. Obviously, Captain America going to be the leader of a hero deck. Whenever you discard one or more land cards, each opponent loses 2 life. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target villain you control gains menace until end of turn and connives. It's interesting. You know, discard, I was expecting a little more of a spell casting thing. But, you know, it's where you pick Doom in the timeline or in what story for the design matters, right? Crawfish Cigarette, what up? Well, Niv, it sounds like you got a bracket 3 deck. If they're getting smoked in bracket 3. If your decks are kicking ass that way. Dr. Doom, Menace is a very strong keyword. It's stronger than people give it credit for. Target villain you control gains menace until end of turn and it connives. I mean, you'll be getting through your deck like crazy, and at the very least you'll be able to connive off of Dr. Doom, so you don't even have to have a villain on the battlefield necessarily before Dr. Doom resolves, which is how a lot of these types of designs go. Hey Carrie Lynn, we got some people in chat. JMO's in chat. I know our developers watching as well. If you're having problems with the extension, that's what we can. Yeah, Tron. So if you do install the extension, the Packpack extension, you should see a sign in with Google button under my chat once you hit refresh on the browser. Yeah, I mean, Dr. Doom and Norman have a ton of synergy. So the thing is that you could do, there's a lot of different ways you can build Dr. Doom, to be completely honest. You've got the villains attacking with Menace, you've got the conniving, so you're filling up your graveyard, you got the +1 counters off the conniving, so you got a little bit of +1 counters, you could proliferate, you got this discard triggered ability when you discard land cards, so you can go like wheels, you can go sort of a Nekuzar thing, cycling. It's kind of wild how broad the build is for Dr. Doom here, potentially. I think I dig it. I hadn't really decided yet until you asked me, but I think I dig this. I know that there was some disappointment when people read him, but to those people I would also go like, what were you after? What were you expecting? I think Dr. Doom will end up being a powerful commander. More powerful. I'll say this. I think this will be a more powerful commander than people will initially give it credit for. I'm seeing some people get into having their Packpack set up. Thanks for jumping in on that, y'all, and helping us test out this new thing. It is early, but we were ready to have it run for people and let y'all be like, this is awesome and this sucks. Fix this, please. So that we can fix the things and make them not suck. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, John and Jennifer, before I go back to commander stuff, do I need to refresh the thing now? It says pushing now. You want me to refresh that? I think we just live fixed the username thing, chat. So you're seeing our developer work on this app as we are live today. Hello. Pretty excellent, if you ask me. As soon as these packs all right, that's the end of 687's pack. I refreshed the cache and it didn't work. Oh, it did make it not transparent anymore. Hello. Chad, I appreciate you bearing with me. Tron, have we gotten Commander Grixis? Oh, discard. I guess O connive sort. E date minus is reprint is commander. Color. There we go. Dr. Eggman is all about them facing villainous choices. Dr. Doom, I guess it has to do with connive, right? Because there's other ways of... Yeah, so Norman and Dr. Doom recently. Wolf, what's up? Tron, yeah, I'm not 100% sure. If you have your pack pile set up, chat, if you close and reopen the extension window, there should be a click to set username in there now. And then you can click that to type in their username, then push enter or click off to set the name. Niv, it just depends on what you're building the winter orb into. So yeah, Dr. Doom, I honestly think will be better than people give him credit for. I think that there's always going to be some sort of little bit of a mental, you know, a mental schism when they bring in characters from outside IPs that are insanely powerful in their own, you know, worlds, so to speak. Dealing with them in a Magic the Gathering context and not just making them like, oh, Dr. Doom has flying and indestructible, like every legend mostly, especially in Marvel. A bunch of the big ones would be like, they would all fly, they would all be indestructible, they would all be 5/5s or bigger. What can you do? Cold truth soon. We are setting up an FAQ page right now. In Optic, that is true. I think that for the Fantastic Four deck, we are not going to have like a... I don't think we'll have a backup 4-color commander in that. I think we're looking at all of the backup commanders, that this was sort of a gimmick, so to speak. But for these three, absolutely. Absolutely, you are getting alternates. And then T'Challa, sick art. I want to see it in high res, but that art looks pretty sick. When it enters or attacks, create a tapped Vibranium, which is an indestructible artifact that taps for colorless that can only be used to cast artifacts. And then whenever you cast an artifact spell with mana value 4 or greater, put 2 1/1 counters on T'Challa. Enters or attacks. Now I'll say I do wish that T'Challa had some sort of indestructibility built in with the Vibranium aspect. But again, that's back to exactly what I was saying with Dr. Doom, right? Is you can't just have every Marvel character be indestructible, trampling, double striking, magic and punching and flying and all of it. Count. Yeah, LA was great, dude. I appreciate you. Ristic buddies are sick. I got to hang out with them last weekend too. Last weekend was a blast. Those trips are just so exhausting, man. So exhausting. Flying over on Friday, and then we kind of just like build out and get ready all Friday evening. And inevitably, because we're Magic players, we know we're going to play 20 games of Commander over the weekend, but we go ahead and get a game in that night. That's what we did last Friday. Then we went to, then Saturday, we started, our first game was 8 a.m. Pacific, and we shot through 5 p.m. Pacific with a lunch break. And then that night we had a party at the garage for a bunch of people in town. And then Sunday we started at like 8:30 or 9. And we shot 2 games on Sunday. Yeah, Jank, we were just talking about Doom. Trav, I used to play Brawl on Arena a lot more, but I don't anymore. Chat, I'm seeing some people get their packs, get signed up for Packpack, and on that, I really do appreciate it, y'all. We are trying to stress test this thing. I'm seeing, it's funny with this stream, I'm like, I'm talking about some stuff. We're talking about the thing. I got the Packpack company chats over here. Like, let's do this, try this. What about this? We got to do this. So I appreciate y'all being here today and hanging out. That thing's going to be running pretty much every time I'm live. So if y'all got any feedback, feature, suggestions, never hesitate. Type !extension if you're not on it yet. And if you're on Chrome, if you're watching this on Chrome, or you can open it up on Chrome, you'll start collecting packs, points to buy packs. Chat, if you've already got the extension installed, there's a little circle down there in the bottom right. You'll recognize it's very similar to something you'd see on Twitch. That is slowly filling up. And you'll see it fill up, and every 6 minutes you'll get more free points. RJ, there's been a lot of merfolk love lately. That's one of those creature types though that it's just like Hawkball is so good. It's like Edgar for vampires. Hawkball is so good. So first you have to answer the question, am I going to play Hawkball? And then you go from there. Trav, 10-word summary of what this is. Interactive streaming overlay for collecting packs and cards while Joel is live. There you go. T'Challa vehicles is a way that I've seen this be suggested to me because I haven't been super excited on this one. You're in the right colors for some blinking, which is pretty cool. So you can get some tapped vibranium tokens going. And it's cool to essentially get a mana rock with your commander on turn 3, though you can't use the mana until turn 4. Unless you've somehow resolved like a unwinding clock on turns 1, 2, or 3, which is tough. And then no, T'Challa seems very fair. The 2+1 counters on T'Challa, you know, you have to cast an artifact spell with mana value 4 or greater. So it's not enter, it's not whenever an artifact enters, it's when a artifact spell mana value 4 or greater is cast. And obviously the vibranium tokens are going to help you with that, but you can't do anything. That passive there, or that trigger there, doesn't lend itself to be like, oh, and I'm going to give T'Challa 20 counters all in one turn without some +1 counters proliferation business. With T'Challa, I would look at, is there any synergy with like Power Stones? Is there anything from Brothers War that is exclusive to that set that was a new design for Brothers War that hasn't been reprinted since then? That's where my head immediately goes. If I was to start building T'Challa right now, I'd first go and look at any Power Stone synergy, because Vibranium token reminds me a lot of Power Stones. And I'd see if there's any synergy there, any old cards that are overlooked that are going to be cool with artifact tokens entering a lot, well-ish. T'Challa's a human. I think that, you know, choose a creature type stuff may really play in this set, because Marvel's going to have a lot of not just hero and villain creature type, but human, Skrull, Asgardian. I'm assuming they'll make Thor and as... You know, have we seen a Thor card? I wonder if they're going to do the Asgard stuff like they're going to do the X-Men stuff and kind of make it differently. Trav, what's up, buddy? Yeah, try signing in with Google, Trav. I'm thinking right now, you're the second person to say the login with Twitch isn't working. Aeropressor, heck yeah. Marvel Commander Cube? Dude, what did you even put in it? How do you have enough cards to build a Marvel Commander Cube right now? God bless. Surely that would be an easier task after this set. There's a scene box Thor and Loki. Okay. So far, so then the only, like, we have not seen X-Men, and we have not seen a ton of cosmic stuff, right? Like Guardians of the Galaxy or something like that. Yeah, Larry G, I understand that, but that's pretty MCU, dude. I'm not gonna lie. The whole build-up kinetic power Black Panther thing. And I would assume that this whole set, this whole honestly approach to Magic having Marvel cards has to be based on the comics. Maybe we'll get some MCU secret layers. That would be super sick. Aeropressor, you'll have to send me the link to me on Discord. Thanks, Crawfish. I appreciate you. It has taken a long time to just get to this point. When you open up the extension, make sure you go in there and customize your avatar once you start getting some items. Click around in there. If stuff doesn't look right or stuff doesn't work right, please let us know. Yeah, Trav, back to that. I think that you'll have to log in with Google right now. The Twitch side of things is coming, but may not be working fully. Hey, real quick, shout out to our stream monarch, Rizius. All hail, Rizius8331. I need some crowns in chat, please, for Rizius8331, your stream monarch. Riz said, is it strange that 3 pre-con phase commanders don't have keywords like Flying Ward? Are they toning down the decks because the main abilities for them aren't crazy powerful like the Elemental deck? Okay, Riz, are you talking Marvel? You're talking the Marvel heroes? Or are you talking... Yeah. Okay, I think I'm seeing what you're saying. So you're saying the Marvel heroes don't have a lot of keywords. Why is that? And it feels like the Lorwyn Elemental Commander is more powerful. Yeah, Steve. Yeah, you should be able to run it right now. Shout out Steve. Steve has seen the pre-alpha builds, been on test nights, giving me feedback on this thing. Truman's Popo, I thank you for that crown in chat. Riz deserves a crown. Riz, yeah, so... I'll break that into pieces. The Marvel Commanders first. It's like I was saying with the Doctor Doom designs. I feel like if you went to their like Marvel wiki entry for any of these heroes and you went down all of the abilities that they could have, flying, hard punching, very strong, you know, fast boy, good at looking. Oh, they can smell good. You know, if you just go down to every single ability, every single design is going to end up as keyword soup. Hell yeah, Steve. That's awesome. Let me know how I can help. That's awesome. Nah, Winter Soldier. We'll get a Winter Soldier, Larry G. They just won't put a gun in his hand. Maybe catch him at the time when he was holding the shield for some reason. But if they want to go villain with him, I mean, can't they just put like a big machine gun like a big assault rifle or something. The Warhammer 40K had, what are the machine guns in 40K called? Those Space Marines all had their big machine guns, right? The big boxy looking ones. Niv, and see, that's what I'm talking about. When you start getting into the deeper cuts, I doubt that we see that deep of a cut yet. I would assume, you know, be kind of cool to get a Young Avengers set, and it's all like the youth of Marvel. A flip soldier would be dope. Yeah, Phoenix, that was the other thing. You're right, is like he could just be flexing the arm, right? Or like looking at a field manual or something. So with the keyword thing, you can't over design these. You have to kind of pick and choose. And it ends up with weird ones. Like, I can't believe that Human Torch doesn't fly, but gives itself flying if you cast a non-creature before combat. So the flavor is there. Then you look at commanders from Lorwyn, and I won't lie, that Ashling commander is insane. I was gonna play funny story. I was gonna play Ashling this weekend. I had it ready and to take with me as one of my 6 decks. I take however many decks we're shooting and then 1 extra, so I took 7 decks, and that was one of my 7 decks originally. Wazzlebug, what up, dude? Good to see you. And by the time we got like 2 days out of the trip, I was like, Dom, hey, what all decks is everybody bringing? And he was like, well, 3 people besides you have said they want to bring Ashling. And I was like, got it. Understood. Leaving that one at home. Gonna let the guesties play that one. I don't know if y'all have played with or against the Ashling deck, but holy moly. Holy moly. Yeah, Nunez, the revolver was in Final Fantasy, and didn't Gearson Starn have guns in Warhammer 2? There's a lot of examples of cards with guns at this point. So that Ashling deck was powerful for sure. But it's hard to, and I think this will always be a problem moving forward. It's hard to say, compare power levels of an in-universe Magic character to out of universes beyond characters. Yeah, Larry G, you didn't need to upgrade that deck. To Wazzlebug's point, that deck runs just fine. I was so low on that deck because, tap lands, 5 colors. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, dude. You are very frequently resolving Ashling on turn 3, and then mana colors don't matter anymore because you start developing so much value. Phoenix, I would say that Ashling is stronger than Hearthhole right out of the box. I would say that even with an upgrade. I think that with Hearthhole, you got to go very specific with your upgrade, whereas Ashling, improve the land base and take out 3 or 5 of the clunkier cards, and that deck is insane. Just nuts. Just nuts. Hearthhole has a ton of longevity. That deck is inevitable. One of the most inevitable precons in a long time. Whereas Ashling's ability to explode out of the gate and just develop so much value, it's insane. So I have played with Morcant. I've got a Morcant deck. I took it this weekend. Oh, is Genocide in chat? Yo, shout out Genocide. Jenna was our animator. Everything moving on the game on Packpack is Jenna's work. Jenna, appreciate you. Good to see you. Morcant is a deck that if it elf balls correctly, it can be very good. That's another one that it can get going very fast with a good draw, especially because, you know, elves are ramping on every turn potentially. 1, 2, and 3. Jenna, what's up? Good to see you. And so I definitely, if you watch last Thursday night's stream, I only got one game in instead of the two that I intended, but I played one game with Morkant. Jank was in that game with me. And it went off. It was probably the hardest that deck can pop. So if you go to that stream and you scrub to the game start, watch the first like 5 or 6 turns. Joel or Magic refresh and the Twitch button will be removed. Okay. Watch the first 5 or 6 turns of that game. And you'll see that deck working. Okay. I've refreshed. There's Quantum Mechanic. What up? Chad, I appreciate y'all being here today. Trying out our game. However, I played Morkant over the weekend in an episode, and it could not get going. That was honestly my entire weekend. So these games are going to be some of the worst showings out of me, I feel like, over the next 5 to 6 episodes. And they're not all bad. I'm lower on it because I was living it, you know? But my decks I could not draw the cards I needed. I couldn't, like, the opening hands were decent, but then just delivered the opposite of what the opening hand needed. I felt like I was always clunking out and just drawing a bunch of, like, the 4 and 5 mana stuff when I needed multiple 2s and 3s. Wasn't really drawing cards. It was just one of those weekends, right? You have those weekends playing where every game seems like the magic gods have just given you a little kiss on the forehead that morning. But some you can get 5-6 games in a row some weekends playing Commander all weekend where you're just like, wow, why do I do this? Why am I so bad at this? I should be better at this, honestly. I do it so much. I feel like I should naturally be better. And that was my weekend. I've had good ones, I've had bad ones. Last MagicCon Atlanta, it felt like I couldn't lose a game. It felt like I just only drew the perfect cards. And everything was cranking. But I couldn't get Morkant to pop. I couldn't get oh, what did I expect? Joel and Ellie did the thing. Joel and Ellie did perform pretty well all weekend. That deck is pretty sweet. I'm having a good time with that one. Oh, what else did I take? I've got them right here. Oh, I couldn't get Liesa to pop. Oh my god, dragons. That was the worst one. Dude, I played yeah, Dom had a good time. I bet you did, bud. I played Eshki Dragons, and that deck is essentially Teamer, Ramp, play Big Dragon, Swing. I couldn't get a thing to resolve. If it got played, it got removed or mana-tithed. I tapped out one time. I was so behind on board, and I tapped out fully plus sacked a Eldrazi spawn and Castu Rennie that lets me like look at the top 8 and dump some dragons onto the battlefield to just try and get a board position. That got mana-tithed. Oh my god, awful. But I couldn't get past like 5 or 6 lands with that deck, and that was just kind of the whole weekend. Was weird little clunky starts, clunky plays. You know how it goes. Axel, let's look at that deck first. That's a really good transition into the actual purpose of this stream today, which is get some decks built up and accurate. Over on Moxfield, Joel's Joel deck. Need to see if this is still accurate. Yep, we've already got it broken down. My mana value. Is my top down working? It is. Hello. So let's take a look at Joel, and we will build it out, so to speak. As a congratulations for cards go? I don't even know where they went. Probably in one of the boxes. Dom gave me that scene box from Final Fantasy that I'm building the party deck out of. If y'all have heard me talk about that on some videos. I'm not sure where the cards ended up. They're somewhere in here. But shout out Dom. Gave me that as a gift for the whole 100K thing. Here's the Joel deck. This thing was just working all weekend. It's honestly worked since I've been playing it. Oh, and I got to show y'all this. Dude, custom treasure token. How sick is this? Lydia. If you know Krim's partner Lydia is an artist and has her own social media presence. Made these for me and Dom. Made these for everybody in our pod that game, but nice little cute custom Joel treasure token for GTG. Yeah, I'm gonna fix that glare. That should be better. Prof, what up? Buzz, yeah, I thought you'd like that. Yeah, W. As soon as I tapped out, sacked that Eldrazi spawn. Oh man, they go, well, I've got a mana tithe. And in my heart I went, well, this is happening. Let me mana value this thing out, chat, and we will double check that it is all accurate. I've got this built as a sort of hybrid aristocrats sacrifice. Oh, and there's some cards I want to take out. Like I want to take Gemstone Caverns out. Caverns is fun. It's just strong, too strong. The games I start with it in my hand, I'm just like, well, that's the intention, but also I'm like, I don't want to. I've already got enough heat. Oh yeah, Dom gave me the matching soul ring too. I've got the PlayStation soul ring in this in the Joel and Ellie deck, which I like. Super fun. Dom said check card draw amounts in those decks that are inconsistent. Yeah, that's a good note. Arrow, yeah, that Miles deck is super fun. You saw it in that episode of Garage. Is that what you're talking about? That wasn't even a super great showing of that deck, but that deck is super fun. I wish people weren't so low on Spider-Man. There's some good, fun designs. You can see as I'm laying this deck out that I've got quite a few Marvel treatments in here. I leaned this deck pretty heavily into Joel cards, so to speak. Like me coded stuff. You know, choosing my Infernal Grasp to be a Spider-Man treatment. And so if you see any cards in here, you're like, why are you running Wheel of Misfortune? Because I love it. That's a pet card of mine. Reanimate, like not really a reanimator deck, but it's fine. I love that card though. I would assume at this point that the mana is wrong on this. Whoops, Grismold, you go in the 3s. Mana curve on this one's low too. I think that's also kind of helping the whole system. To Dom's point, card draw, my commander draws me cards, but also low CMCs. The curve of this one is pretty low to the ground. It's helpful for getting the game going and really applying pressure to the board, sort of Jund valuing them out, but it's less helpful when I get into situations like, oh, put a permanent from your hand onto the battlefield. Everybody's putting like 7 cost things onto the battlefield, and mine is, you know, a 2 cost Priest of the Forgotten Gods. I'm like, thanks for the free creature. But it's a trade-off. Braidser is a nightmare, and then Ellie as my 2-drop commander. Win con of the deck 7, it's a Jund deck. It's just incremental value over time. Attack with Joel. You know, attack with any of the big creatures that we've got in here that, you know, Hunted Dragon, Clackbridge Troll, Corvold. Also, Aristocrat stuff. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses a life, you gain a life. That's burned him down a lot. keeping the aggro going, but off me. There are multiple, as you can see, Carter Doom Scourge, Disrupt Decorum. I've got Maximum Carnage in this deck. Lots of like group goad. I'm giving out creature tokens like crazy across Hunted Dragon, Ride of the Raging Storm. Ellie is making zombies for everybody. And so if I'm filling up the board with that much aggression, I'm like, okay, when they die, I want payoffs. And when everybody goes to combat, I want to make it so that they're not attacking me, that they're attacking each other. Air Oppressor, that Bant amazing Spider-Man commander. You talking about the one that's got web sling for legendaries? If you are, I think that, yeah, actually this new set too is gonna give you a lot of love. Because is it heroes? Is it heroes? What does that Bant commander do? All right, mana value 1, I've got 11 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That looks accurate. Let's just spot check. Skull Clamp, Regalas, Wild Growth. Yep, Ignoble, Soul Ring. Our Soul Ring treatment is wrong. Come on. We got to get it right if we're on Moxfield. We definitely need the correct treatments, or what are we even doing? All right, our ones are accurate. No, I'm not running Grenzo or Slicer in this one creative, but Slicer and Alexios? Is that Travis's CEDH commander? Elite? I don't know. He was on the Pro Tour for CDH or something and he won with Alexios. Anyway, Slicer and Alexios are two of my favorite creatures creative to that end. You know, I told you that my Joel deck is very Joel coded. Go, Disrupt Decorum, Maximum Carnage. That's Joel. That is Joel cards to a T. And so yeah, Slicer and Alexios are on my maybe board for eventual play in here, but right now I've leaned it more into cards like Slaughter Specialist, cards like Hunted Dragon, stuff that I couldn't necessarily, stuff like Hunted Bone Brute, things that I wouldn't have spots for in other decks. You know what I'm saying? Typically when I build a deck, I try to first look at cards that I'm not running anywhere else. They need this deck's specific synergies and game plan to really sing. Stuff like Grismold. I've always loved this card, never played it in a deck, because it's like, build Grismold, the commander, or where are you going to put Grismold in there? And so this deck, when I'm specifically trying to give away creature tokens, lovely. I actually have not explored the Strixhaven commanders yet, Phoenix. There is so much happening. Magic the Gathering doesn't really let me get too far ahead. This week is nice. I feel like we got a little break because this week was supposed to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles starting, but instead, because the whole thing has already, all the rares and mythics, at least from the main sheet, have been just dumped. I guess they're just reducing it down to a 1 week preview season, which for me, that's fine. That gives me this week to kind of catch up, consolidate, and then next week we can start looking at Turtles. But all that to say, I certainly, as you could tell, I haven't even fully like explored the Marvel commanders. That's as much, the beginning of this stream is as much as I've really even dug into those commanders yet. I think you could probably see me there forming my opinions as I was talking. I certainly haven't gotten to the Strixhaven stuff yet. But if it's dope, it's dope. What's the converted? If it's a 2-man, I'm in. I've been getting really into low CMC commanders recently. Yeah, Alexios is sick. Jadar, I believe, is in the sideboard for this. What's the CMC on Jadar? It's 3, right? Got Varchild. Corvold made the main deck. One of the... Oh, I did get a Forbidden Orchard, I think. I gotta put that in there. One of the main cards that I need for it right now is a Massacre Worm. Oh, Jadar is the... Yes, Jadar's the Decayed Zombie creator. No, I don't have a copy of Jadar. I need it, though. That would be perfect in this deck. 100%. So if you're just joining us, I'll answer Renaissance's question right now. If you are just joining us, typing !extension is going to let you go download our Chrome extension. Right now, our game is only through a Chrome extension. We're working on Twitch. We're working on other streaming platforms, etc. Mobile, things like that. But right now, it is just on Chrome through the web extension. Hit !extension. Nightbot just said it right there. Go grab the extension, start collecting. Install that. Once it's installed, refresh your browser over on my stream, and you should see below chat a new button that says sign in with Google. Do that, and then you'll get a couple free packs just for signing up, and you'll get your pack pal that you can start customizing. Thanks very much. Yeah, W, I've had Lucille in here. Lucille just feels so clunky every time I've play tested it, dude. It always looks fun, and then I'm like, man, that equip of 4 that I can't cheat. Because I'm not a, what is it? Her favorite shovel. Look at that. Even if you type in favorite shovel, it still comes up as Lucille. What the heck? Scryfall. Equip of 4. Ugh. It's always been so clunky because it's 6 mana to get this off. And good. And it's a good effect, dude. Attack, make them sack a creature. But I also want you to think about in this deck, I'm giving out 1/1s like it's just free. Yeah, your dude starts nude. You got to open some packs, get some clothes. Got to dress them up. That's really all it comes down to for me, creative. I love this card, though. I consistently build it into things, and then right before the first game, it comes out. Garage, yeah, I'm the same way. Lucille is always like the 98th card added and the 2nd card cut. We're doing a balance thing. But yes, it has all of the right words to go in this deck for sure. Okay, I checked my 1s. Let me check my 2s. 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's nice. We're good there. Spot check it, Arcane Signet, Lightning Greaves, Arseek, my lovely D-Tutor. Gotta show it off. Gotta show it off. You just know it's cute. I need a better copy of Lightning Greaves in here. Right now I'm using the Final Fantasy ones and I dig them, but I could go cooler on that. And I need cards like Hungry Lynx to get a secret lair or something so that I got different art to pull on that. All right, I think we're good on 2s. Let's double check 3s. Garage, it should show in your inventory if you open up your... Did it not show what you opened because I swapped scenes? That's a good note, actually. Bloodthirsty Blade goes in a lot of my goad decks, creative. That's one that is 100% a Joel card and could go in here, but it just doesn't have anything to do with creature tokens. And so it ended up getting cut. I got 18 mana value 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Uh-oh. Oh, is it because of Sundering Eruption? Yeah, Sundering Eruption is in my lands, I bet. Roller skates for Joel. Anybody open the white Crocs yet? There's the Sundering. All right, so our mana value 3s are accurate. Our mana value 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like we're accurate there. Grave Venerations. Y'all seen this card? This is a newer Lorwyn card that I've been loving. Playtesting it in here. But it's got each opponent on it for the Aristocrats piece. And then returning creature cards from my graveyard to my hand seems really good in a deck that's like sacrificing stuff. Bothersome Quasit, yep. Agitator Ant is another card that I frequently play in my Goad decks. People don't know how to play against that card very well. 7 mana value 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then my single mana value 6. I told you this curve is low on this deck. I got 35 lands, 37 including MDFCs. Yeah, I've got a Forbidden Orchard. Oh, Forbidden Orchard's in here. So what was in the considering? Oh, I just need to remove this. Boom. Okay, I think we're accurate on this deck. This deck list is actually up to date. Hello. So that is my version of Joel and Ellie. This is probably my primary deck right now on my active roster. If we go to my decks, I have it in my under construction interests. Joel's Joel deck, but I'm going to move this to my current commander roster. Oh man. Talk about Marvel. Dude, I started building this. Look at those mana values. Oh man, it makes my I'm not even on the right thing. Sorry. Look at these mana values. I started building this from the Marvel deck or from the Marvel set. Baron Helmet Zemo. Main deck, Phage the Untouchable. Main deck, Reaver Demon. Main deck, Scion of Darkness. Dude, come on, dude. Yeah, Jank, I can't remember the name of that thing right now. Reaver or something? TCG, it's not a noob question at all. Right now, I am double checking my decks. I do so much building, taking apart, grab a couple cards for some pictures, stuff like that for creation, for videos, for socials, all that kind of thing, that very frequently my decks aren't accurate to Moxfield from what they are in paper. Yeah, Clackbridge Troll. Yeah, Clackbridge Troll is in it. Geode Rager. Thank you, Jank. Yes, that's right. Yeah, let me show you the deck list. Commander bench. Oh no, that's my bench. I need my current roster. My current roster. Anybody watch that what was the newest Marvel show called? Wonder Man. Anybody watch Wonder Man? I finished that this weekend. I liked it a lot. Paste. Boom. LP said, do you have a go-to for proxies to order? Do you print or go burr? LP, I print my proxies at my local Office Depot. If you if you email your PDF to, there's an email for Office Depot or Office whatever. Yeah, Wonder Man was really good. I loved it. Good to see some other people liked it too. The acting was so good. It was nice in a show about acting for the acting and writing to be really good. LP, so there's an email for either Office Depot or Office Max. I can't even remember which one is local to me, but you just email your PDF ahead of time, and then you get there, you walk to the printers, and they've got those like industrial color laser printers. It comes out so clean, so high quality, and I can print a whole 100 card commander deck for like $8 or less, I think. And then it's just a matter of cutting. And I use a glue stick on land. Once I've got it cut, center it, glue stick it on there, done and done. That's how I do my proxies. Phage would just kill you. Yeah, we're not. So let me go back to that Baron deck. Baron Helmet Zemo says, whenever I cast a black spell from my hand Baron Knives, and then exile any number of black cards from your graveyard with 15 or more black mana symbols among their mana costs. I'm never casting Phage the Untouchable, except if we happen to get it, you know, for if we happen to have 7 mana and we just hard cast it, sick. That's a cool plus to running this ridiculous deck. But really, what I want to do is get it into my graveyard with that Connive ability. So we're going to be doing a lot of draw discard in this deck to get the graveyard filled with black mana pips. And then it's any number of black cards from your graveyard with 15 or more black mana symbols among everything. It just turns into a, oh, here's 4 pips toward our count. Because then we're going to go cast up to 3 of the copies without paying their mana costs. You know, we use Phage's 4 to help us get to 15. And then we get a free Valgavoth, a free Villas, and a free Scion of Darkness. You know what I'm saying? Seems pretty good. Yeah, but we don't have to. We can use Phage to help us cast the things with Baron's ability without forcing ourselves into making a copy of it. You see what I'm saying? Right. Then, like Tron said, we don't choose that card. Unless everybody's been targeting you the whole game, in which case it's time to commit seppuku. I'm very used to that as well. Sometimes you're just like, I'll cast a token copy of Phage from exile. I lose. I'm going to go get a beer. Y'all finish this on your own. Yeah, Monument to Endurance isn't going to need a reprint for sure, RJ. Arrow, I have not read comics lately. I used to read a lot of comics in college. Around when Secret Invasion was releasing, I would say is when I was heaviest into reading comics. My buddy Jack got me into them. He got me the Civil War graphic novels that had just come out. Like Marvel Civil War books were just a couple years old. Right before Secret Invasion, like I said. And then I read through Secret Invasion, and when that stopped, I've been off and on since then of just reading the major events. Like since then, I read the Annihilus Wave. I read all of the Asgard Comes to Oklahoma stuff. Oh, Dark Reign. That was after Secret Invasion. I went back and caught that eventually. Spider-Man, Brand New Day. I read that run. Stuff like that. I just finished making sure that my Joel deck was ready to roll. I think we're gonna look at Grub next because I haven't even opened up the Grub deck and I've been collecting little Goblino cards for it. I've got it going in this box here, just not for realsies. Step out of the way. Anybody built Grub? Got any advice? See, I've been putting cards over here. Grub Notorious Auntie. Whenever it attacks, I can blight 1. If I do, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of the blighted creature, except it has at the beginning of the end step, sack the token. At the beginning of your first main phase, I can pay a black, and if I do, transform Grub from Notorious Auntie into Storied Matriarch. When this creature enters or transforms into, return up to 1 target goblin card from your graveyard to your hand. At the beginning of your first main phase, you can pay red. If you do, transform Grub. I am interested in this commander for sure. That's actually the main side. I had it flipped backwards. Grub's Storied Matriarch is side 1. Enters or transforms. Return a goblin from your graveyard to your hand. So I need the goblins that like sack for mana. That's pretty huge. I got Rise of the Dark Realms and Living Death in here because I'm a resurrecty baby. Grenzo, Siege Gang. This feels like play good goblins. Hurl Through Hell because I'm like, why not? Chronicle of Victory, good 6 mana drop here. Newer card, gonna test that out. And then cards like Cathartic Reunion. Lots of discard. I don't have the cards sitting around ready for this. Oh, I did grab some goblins too. Bog Slither's Embrace. As an additional cost to cast this, blight 1 or pay 3. Exile a creature for 2 mana in black. Ay, ay, ay. All I have to do to get an exile effect on 2 mana in black now is drop a -1 counter on a creature I control. That's fine with me. This creature deals the damage to each opponent whenever another goblin I control dies. That's the kind of stuff we're going to lean into right here. Black-red goblin sacrifice. I don't have enough of the cards ready. I thought I had more cards in this deck ready for this. Yeah, Tron, but it's tough to build a card that says return target goblin card from your graveyard to your hand, or create a tapped attacking of a Oh no, I guess that side doesn't say goblin, does it? I thought the back also said goblin on it. So I mean, really, you're nerfing yourself though if you don't play at least some goblins, because Grub's able to return them to your hand, so you're missing some value off the front of your commander. I'm gonna put this one away for today, chat, and we'll do some new deck builds another day when I've got the cards sitting around appropriately. This wouldn't be in my active roster immediately anyway. I need to double check. Honestly, I need to redo the blue-black lands deck, Tival, from last Tarkir. Yeah, I need a copy of Krenko, Cameron. That's what I'm talking about. I thought I had already pulled my goblins from my collection and put them in this box to start building this out. Yeah, that is the tough part, Larry, is that it feels like a balancing act, right? The first half wants small stuff that sacks for value so you can return it. And then the back half wants big things with like ETBs or dies triggers. Yeah, Niv. So I keep 5 decks fully active and set up. Right now, I would say Dahada's on my bench right now because I played Dahada a lot, quarter 3 and quarter 4. And so even though Dahada's a signature deck for me, I'd say that Dahada's actually on my bench right now. I'm not actively updating her, keeping her good to go. The Joel deck and the Morcant deck are active and ready to roll. The Joel Jameson needs a little attention, but that is also one that I would call an active deck right now. I think that Counter, Hardly Knower, and Into the Spider-Verse are going to go to my bench as of now, because I want to move from my bench. I want to move Tevel. I want to get Tevel back up and running and make that an active deck. I just haven't played it in a while. Yeah, this is right. Except what's happened with this is I've gone through and been pulling a bunch of cards for other stuff. And so I don't even know what the status of this deck is. So that's kind of what I need to look at today. But as you can see, it's a blue, black, green, graveyard reanimator type thing. Like that Rise of the Dark Realms, I'm pretty sure was the one I just saw in the Grub deck. But we'll see. This will be the next one we work on. And so I keep, let me move this to current roster. I keep 5 decks, and I choose the number 5 because that's how many fits in my quiver. I can fit 5 commander decks in here. Don't dump out. Don't dump out. Don't dump out. Don't dump out. Some cards dumped out. But as you can see, I can fit 5 in there. Also, I find that once I start getting too far over 5, I'm repeating myself synergies wise or play wise or cards wise, or one's not getting much attention. 5 always feels like the sweet spot of how many decks to keep maintained and make sure that they're 100% accurate and ready to just go. This is what fell out, chat. Look at these. We opened up some... Look at that foiling, dude. We opened up some Final Fantasy trading card game cards as a fun thing at Dom's this weekend. And he didn't want them, so I took the foils because the foils look insane. And these are tokens that I give out for my Joel deck now. I'm like, here, this is a zombie. You see, it looks like a zombie. This is clearly a fungus. Duh. Man, that foiling looks nuts, though. That's why I kept them. We need some sparkle foiling like that in MTG. So that's what I do. Niv, I hope that makes sense. Yeah, the bench, I don't necessarily take apart my bench decks, Niv, but they are free to be, you know, cannibalized for other things. Like my Kobolds deck, my Prosh deck, you saw this card is now in my Joel deck because this was a signature commander of mine for a long time. Very similar play patterns. Just making the tokens happen everywhere instead of just my deck. And so a lot of the cards that were in Prosh worked perfectly for that. Worked perfectly for that deck. You know what I'm saying, Niv? So I'll get, you know, like this is a perfect example of a deck that goes to my bench. It's probably still 75 to 85% together, but I've gone through and picked out, you know, 10 or so, 10 to 20 cards that played well in the other deck that was so similar. But I'll leave the deck list here, just move it to my bench and know that it needs some attention before I'm going to run it again. This is also a strategy off of going to conventions 3 times a year minimum. Is I take 5 decks with me to conventions. That's the same number there. I think that 5 is a really good number for playing Commander all weekend. You're going to play with 2 or 3 of them Friday. You're going to play with 2 or 3 of them Saturday. You're going to play with 2 or 3 of them on Sunday. That's just kind of how it goes. If you play more than like 5 games in a day, you commandered pretty hard. And if you're differentiating your 5 decks enough as far as color, play style, whatever, you shouldn't get bored with 5 decks over one weekend. No, Sneaky, I don't think that's abnormal to be maintaining 20 current decks. If Food Time is in chat, I'm pretty sure Food Time maintains somewhere between 7 and 124 commander decks at any given time. You've heard of that challenge where you have a commander deck of every color combination, solo all the way up to, or mono all the way up to 5? Food Time's like, I like to do that, but times 100. I like to have 10 decks of every color combination. 10 mono red decks, 10 mono black decks, etc. Mark, I typically build 3s and 4s. I don't really love 2s. If we're going to play 2s, fine, whatever. Let's play some precons. Yeah, I mean. But I mostly build 3s and 4s. And so for a commander, for a convention, typically I'll go low 3. 1 low 3, meaning like 1 game changer. Maybe no game changers. I just know it's a 3. Jank said the 124 should have been the low end. Yeah. Somewhere between 124 and 1,077 commander decks. I'll bring a low 3. I'll bring 2 or 3 max 3s that are 3 full game changers and synergized out. And then I'll bring 1 4. Typically that's my Dahada because I'll run as many game changers as I damn well please. But also I know that Dahada's like a more powerful commander. And people have a stigma against her, and so I know that she's going to be targeted, so she's got to be built a little heavier. That's what ends up happening to drive my decks into 4s, is the commander is so hated, like Morkant or Dahada, that power creep and just dealing with the smoke forces me into making the deck more powerful. I build like I'm bracket 3 and buy cards like I'm bracket 2. Yeah, Dot, that's where I'm at. I think high 3. Well, I actually think I would be a little bit lower than you on that, Dot. I think I would say just 3 in general. 3 in general, and then have a couple 4s. And I don't play CDH, so I do like CDH though. But CEDH, I feel like bracket 4 replaced what I liked most about CEDH, which was the solved social contract. My favorite thing about sitting down to play CEDH is that everybody's just expecting to melt each other's faces off. We don't have to, oh, what are you running? Oh, what's in that? How many game changers? We don't have to do all that. It's just sit down, crack my head open. I'm going to try and do that to you. But bracket 4 is basically that. We just understand that it's not CEDH. But I feel like that's also a solved thing. Like, a CEDH player is not going to be like, oh yeah, my deck's a bracket 4, sure. I feel like that would be blasphemous to a CEDH player. Anyway. Let's look at this Tebal deck. I got to get it back up and running. I don't even know what state it's in. Bumble's Biscuits. Didn't I just have it? There it is. I do think that that's generally right, Dom, that people more often than not overblow what their deck is at. Because, yeah, nobody wants to be like, oh, this is a 2. Oh, this deck is fun, chat. I'm remembering as I'm seeing this. Oh, I got to run my, Jake and I had this preview card back in MH2. What was this? 2021? Combine Chrysalis. And this deck makes a lot of zombie tokens and is in blue-green. So I was like, I'm definitely running our preview card from back in the day. Make all of my zombie tokens flying. Oof. See? And then that's what the problem is right there. I'm gonna hit huge pockets. PlayStation or Xbox? Which one should I get so I have something to not get to play and not get burnt out? I mean, I feel like there's not much better than that Game Pass subscription right now. It's starting to get a little expensive, not gonna lie. I've thought about canceling it because they just keep jacking the price up. But Game Pass has got a ton. I bet there are Game Pass players in chat that can be like, yeah, dude. It's just so much value. Is that what you were talking about? Why are you asking me about Xbox? I don't know, man. I know what I play. I can make good recommendations on Magic stuff. Past that, I'm going to give you my opinions on what I do. Oh, yeah, dude. This deck's going to be a fun one to get back up and running. Dom, I think I would have brought this one. I think this would have been in the place of Ashling if I had more notice. Because this deck is just, I think, barely not together. And still has, like, obvious upgrade paths that I haven't taken all the way yet. Like, I don't want to run Casualties of War personally. The Balanced Scale. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 33 lands, so I'm short on lands. Oh, you got the cowboy hat? Nice, Jank. Yeah, I'll tell you, Dot. I've been playing, I've been using this thing. Y'all ever use one of these? I've been playing on, so they've got this thing called xCloud. If you have Game Pass, they've got this thing called xCloud that you can play pretty much anything on Game Pass on your phone via the cloud. There is an application called Better xCloud that somebody made that is just xCloud plus better. So what I do is I have this thing called Better xCloud right here. When I open it up, it just opens up my Xbox. I plug this in like that. And then it's got all of my like stuff that I've been playing. You see, I've been playing Paw Patrol World. Almost got all the achievements on that one. But that's mostly how I play Xbox. I haven't been doing... I'm so focused on Magic all the time that you can ask the people I used to play multiplayer games with a lot. I typically don't play that. Elmo, I have all 10 duels. I have all my duels, and so I don't... Yeah, Mark, there you go. I forgot about that. I've been working so much on the scripts for that when I tweeted about that art the other day, I was working on that script, and I was like, oh yeah, I've never really told this story, that this was the first rare that I ever opened and really got me into the game. So I tweeted the art, and then I was like, oh, you know what? I'll just make that my phone background for a little while. Yeah, Niv, it's a mean deck for sure. Mine is okay. So yeah, like I took the Soul Ring out of here, Phyrexian Reclamation. I took my copy of Reanimate and my copy of Soul. Ugh, this one just needs work. I do need to... Okay, Soul Ring. And then Reanimate. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use Moxfield's abilities. We don't even have a considering. Beautiful. So we're gonna start moving these to sideboard if they're not in here, and that will help me keep track of what I've got and what I don't, so that I can go through and replace the cards. 20 mana value 2s. Holy crap. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 in the options. Anyway, sorry, I forgot to finish that answer. Elmo, I have all 10 duels, and so I decided once I got all my duels like 2 years ago, something like that, I decided I was just going to proxy them for every deck that I have. And so the only place I don't run them is my mono decks, you know. But yeah, I hear you. I just feel like I have them, so I want to play them. And I don't want to buy more than one copy of each of them. I do think that I'm going to start using them for the first time, though, in my Joel signature deck. That feels like the appropriate place to pull out my duels and put them in sleeves and actually play with them. They're all heavy play, so it's not like they are mint condition. Let's see what I did not have in here. Aftermath, I've got Arcane Signets in there, Auroral Processions in there, Combine Chrysalis is in there, Farseek. That's probably a card I yoinked for another deck. Yup. So Farseek needs to be found. Grapple with the Past, I think I saw. Oh no, I've got Grapple with the Past in another deck. Jeez, I didn't have an extra copy of Grapple with the Past. Grizzly Salvage, I think I saw. Nope. Okay, so some stuff got yoinked for a black-green graveyard deck, it seems. Heroic Intervention, I know that... Oh, no, I've actually got that in here. I don't know what's happening right now. Infernal Grasp, Skimmer, Life from the Loam? That was in the deck, right? Yeah, I've got Life from the Loam. Greaves. Milliken. Milliken's not in here. Greaves is in here. Nature's Lore, I'm assuming. Nope, that's in there. Sakura is in there. Little Steve action. Shout out, Steve. Yeah, the Joel deck will definitely be worth stealing. It'll have Five duels? Is that right? Sakura, Satyr Wayfinder, Skull Prophet. Skull Prophet got taken. Oh, you know what? They went to, I bet they went to the Joel deck. Yeah, we were just talking about Sakura Tribe Elder. What's your count of Steves at? Yeah, I hear you, Elmo. I wish that we didn't run it, but, you know, if everybody else is jumping off the cliff, I have to. Terra Sunder also not in here. Okay, so we got the 2s corrected. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. Mana value 3. You've got 155 copies of Steve, and your best one is like a Gem Mint 10, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm missing 2. Looks like Ramanop Excavator and Harrow? Nope. Judgment? Nope. Victimize. Victimize. Ramanop Excavator and Victimize. Mana value 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I bet the Timeless Witness. Nope, that's there. Conduit of Worlds is there. Fangkeeper's Familiar is there. Sidisi. Wonder. Welcome the Dead. Welcome the Dead. Oh, I didn't pick up all the cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're all there. We do need to update some treatments, though. Tormod is our etched version. And then Sidisi is our... Aw. Don't you miss the stamp promos? Look at how cute that is. All right, those are done. See, I appreciate you. Full art textless, Steve. Couple of those signed and a signed artist proof. Wow. 6s, 7s. What? 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 6. All right, let's look at the 5s. We got 4 5s. Uh-oh. Missing some 5s. Living Death has been swapped over. I think we already even saw that. And then Will of the Sultai. I think that got pulled to the Joel deck. But that's okay. Mana value 6. Got 5 cards. We are online there. Look at my Garuda. Signed by Brooke Trafton. He signs his cards 001001. If you're not familiar, Brooke Trafton is the dude that pulled the one ring and sold it to Post Malone for enough money not to have a day job anymore. I got him to sign my Garuda, and he signs all of his cards 001001. I always get him to sign a card when I see him at cons and stuff. Mana value 6s are accurate. Mana value 7s are accurate. Mana value 8s. I'm short by 2. Afterlife from the Loam went to the Joel deck, and Colossal Grave Reaver. I don't know where that is. And then we've also got the Rise of the Dark Realms that I took and put in the Grub deck. So we can immediately get some cards back. 8, 9. You've got a custom altar of Jack Black as Steve from the Minecraft movie, Steve? Good Lord. You went kind of hard, huh? You were so worried with whether or not you could. You never stopped to ask yourself whether you should. Man, I have got a headache, chat. I don't know what the deal is. I need to re-sleeve this deck too, unfortunately. That kind of sucks. It's got the... These are fine sleeves, but they've got that same consistency as the art sleeves, which means they start to kind of split apart. but I've had this deck for a while. Well, nearly a year, as you can see. Then Rise of the Dark Realm. So we got Living Death back in there, which is appropriate. But then the question is, like, what cards did I yoink out of here as far as lands? Figuring out the mana base is its own game. Treasure Cruise? Not Treasure Cove, but Treasure Cruise is not an 8-drop, it's a 1 blue. Yeah, especially in this deck. I think more often than not, I end up playing it, you know, on average, like 3 mana, 2 mana, 3 mana. Because you also don't want to, I don't want to nuke my best stuff. So if I got a good reanimation target, you know, we'll leave that one alone. Appreciate y'all hanging out, chat. If you haven't gotten that, if you're on Google Chrome and you haven't gotten that Packpack extension installed, type !extension for me in chat. That'll take you to the link and you can start playing our new game Packpack. I got a video on the channel kind of explaining what it is and where it came from. You want to go watch that. All right, so this deck at the very least, minus the lands, is... I know what it needs. New sleeves. And basically 14 cards. I got to work out the land problem as well. Because this one needs 40 lands and... this ain't doing it. H C T basics. Tempo, underground, cephalid, memorial, basic, for boat, A B C D E F D, basic, haunted, shipwreck. Ishla, Etid, Metamorphic, Dark Water. Drownyard Temple. Yeah, Brad, I gotta get the Surveil lands. I missed the window to buy those. And so at this point for the Surveil lands, I'm kind of waiting on a reprint, unfortunately. I have a few of them, but I definitely didn't go to get those when I needed to, like I did with, you know, the shocks from Edge. Right around the 3-month mark with Edge of Eternities, I bought, I think I showed it off on a video. I bought, I think, 4 of each shock. And that was in addition to the ones I had opened or already gotten for various reasons. So as soon as as soon as Lorwyn hits that 3-month mark, I'm going to be like, holy moly, set on Shocklands. How does it feel to see your took longer than a pregnancy baby coming alive with Packpack? Mark, it was great. It took a lot longer than everybody thought. I think that, you know, building a side hustle thing, especially one that takes 3 people to really keep it on track. Side hustles are tough, especially since before 23, the channel was also a side hustle for me. And so it was nice when I was able to quit my day job and focus on this full time, Mark, because that let me work on some of the other stuff that I wanted to work on, like Packpack. But yeah, it was great. We're very excited to have it at the point where we feel like we can show it off for people, and we'll keep building it out from here. Yeah, it might be Tron. No, more. Not a real big chunk of them, you know. I had the occasional and random Shockland that I had picked up from playing over the years, but I had never been in a place where, you know, I wanted to go in on Shocks heavy and make sure I just had the collection to set. I'm just good to go on Shocks now. I will be good to go on Shocks. Thresher, I was a corporate project manager for a plasma collection company. Facilities, most specifically. I started after college. I worked at Nickelodeon and I stage managed for them. That's what I was doing at the end of that job. And I worked in the warehouse, did props for a little while, that kind of stuff. I was mostly shitty at all those jobs. Fresh out of college, I didn't care too much, you know what I'm saying? And then I got that job. I bounced around. I worked in restaurant facilities for a while, and that was miserable, and I wanted to not do that anymore. And so I ended up getting fired from that job, actually. The only job I've ever gotten fired from was that restaurant job. I hated it, though. They deserved to fire me. I remember getting fired. I was just like, yeah, probably. Catch you. But that sucked. But then I got a job working for this plasma collection company, and they're based in Spain. They were global. It was the hugest company. They were a Fortune 200 company, biggest company I'd ever worked for. And so I got to learn a lot about corporate America and how just corporate environment works. And I got to learn a lot about project management because my theater degree was not super relevant to me as far as like life skills go. Really good for speaking, really good for voice and diction, really good for acting, analyzing text. But, you know, I felt like when I had that job as a project manager, I got to learn corporate skills that I never developed or never would have learned with my degree, which again was a theater degree. But around COVID, that job went fully remote. I was managing 40 to 60 facilities, depending on when you caught me in that job. My main chunk was from Mississippi to Florida up to Virginia and then down at a diagonal. I had all of the different facilities in that section of the United States. And yeah, they did a lot of switching around, a lot of consolidation, and then about 2023 into 2020, beginning of 24, there was a big round of layoffs. And they were taking volunteers and offering 3 months of severance. And I was like, I will take the severance and go start to work on YouTube full time. Bye. And that's the story. BuzzFuzz, it's a company called Griffles, Grifols. There's a lot of plasma companies though. And honestly, like if you just have free time and you're like, I need some cash, donating plasma is not the worst thing. It ain't super fun. You got to go in, you get your arm stick, you sit there for like an hour, but you get paid for just sitting there and being on your phone. So if that, you know, if you need some cash, I'd look up and see if there's any plasma donations around you. It was something that I hadn't heard of before I started working there, but it's pretty common as a way to get a little bit of extra spending cash. Yeah, Mark, that was the thing that lined up the best. Was channel was about ready to get sponsored and they were like, hey, here's a severance, see ya. Yeah, Griffles, BioLife, oh man, I can't even remember the major competitors anymore. Octapharma, BioLife. I would look up plasma donation near me, not necessarily Griffles, because there's centers all over the United States and all over the world, depending on where you are. Anyway, that's that. I was in plasma. I was doing project management for facilities, unclogging toilets and fixing roof leaks and telling our HVAC guys when the HVAC wasn't working. That was one where I was like, HVAC guys, you got this. I'll make sure the floor tiles get replaced that are cracked. All right, let's look at this land base here. Bayou. Okay, so my Bayou got pulled. That makes sense. Cephalid Coliseum is in there. Crypt is in there. Command Beacon got pulled. Command Tower's in there. Contaminated Aquifer is in there. Agadim is in there. And where are the D's? Darkwater Catacombs. Deathcap Glade got pulled, which makes sense. Dreamroot Cascade stayed. Nice. Drownyard Temple. Exotic Orchard. Fetid Pools. Foreboding Landscape. Got the basics down there. Rot Farm. We got Haunted Mire, Hinterland Harbor, and Kishla Village. This is that kind of commander deck work that I let build up and build up and build up, and then suddenly it's like all my cards are spread among 100 decks. That deck lists aren't accurate anymore. Llanowar Wastes got pulled. Interesting. Memorial to Folly, Myriad Landscape, Opulent Palace, Shipwreck Marsh, Sunken Hollow, Basics. Temple, Terramorphic, Trop, Underground, and then Woodland Cemetery got pulled. All right, 19 cards. 5 of them are lands. Not bad. Oh, let's check my basics counts. 3 islands, 3 forests, 3 swamp. Done. Dunzo. All right, so the Tevel deck is on its way. Talakris, yeah, Talakris. Griffel's owned Talakris. Yeah, Esoteric. Esoteric knows their plasma. CSL. Oh, man. You're flashbanging me with flashbacks right now. Your LGS has a plasma center next door? RJ, that's actually... Is it clean? Is it good? Are the phlebotomists good? Honestly, that's what you look for when you go to a plasma center is it clean inside? Do they get you in and out of there? Because the whole process can take quite a while. Because basically, they take a bunch of blood out. They process it to get the plasma out. And then they put the blood back in you. And so the process takes a little bit of time. So it's like, is it clean? Do they get you in and out of there? How do they pay? And are the phlebotomists good? Because the gauge of the needles can be pretty big to make it all happen, you know, because it needs to happen timely, right? I was just talking about how long the process takes. The smaller the gauge, the longer it takes. And a lot of these plasma companies, they do the base level phlebotomist training themselves. They won't hire, you know, previously trained phlebotomists. And so you've got newly trained first-time phlebotomists a lot of times. So finding a center manager that's running their center well and, you know, has people getting enough experience before they start poking people can be a big deal. But that's so interesting that it's right next to a LGS. That's like having a plasma donation center right next to a casino. Which I bet exists, honestly. I know that there are some in Vegas. I actually was I covered the West Coast for a long time. All right. That's the Tevel deck. Now I at least know what it is missing. Dom, which deck didn't perform well? I just got so screwed, it's hard to tell. I need to look at the J. Jonah Jameson because I've definitely I've swapped some cards out. I yoinked some red cards. I took a Sticky Fingers out for the Joel deck because Sticky Fingers is such a good turn 3. You turn 2 Ellie pretty consistently. And it says whenever a player attacks one or more of your opponents, that attacking player creates a tapped 1/1 zombie that's also attacking that opponent. So I want to start doing this. Like, I want to play Ellie on turn 1 or 2 so I can start doing this on turn 2 or 3. And the card Sticky Fingers for 1 red mana gives them Menace, which is huge to get Ellie through wherever I want her to go through on the first attack. And more often that helps with the second and third attacks too. But also, when she hits, I create a treasure token. And that helps me get my 5 mana commander, aka Joel, aka Mr. R Magic, onto the battlefield ASAP. So I can start drawing cards. Kyle, your packs are not getting added to the queue. JMO, are you still in chat? Oh, I also took out Untimely. So I just need to update the deck list, it looks like, for J. Jonah Jameson. I took out Untimely and Ride of the Raging Storm for Joel as well. And I put in Electro and Ashling since this is a mono red deck. I had been playing Stella Lee, the Storm deck. Yeah. Yeah, Morcant didn't ball at all. Morcant forgot how to ball. I had been playing Electro and Ashling in Stella Lee, the Is It Storm deck. And dude, every time I resolved them, they were so cool. Any of those cards that are like, oh, your red mana doesn't go away. They're like Omnath, but red. Yeah, Kyle, try hitting refresh. That's a good point. As this new... Ooh, Dolmen Gate added to Ellie is actually a really good idea, Justin. Putting it in my sideboard. I can't believe I hadn't thought of that. Thank you. Oh, Tevel is searched. I was like, why are none of my decks showing? I had to search. Oh, well, there you go. I guess I need to do this. There we go. Dolmen Gate. Very good idea. What is that? A mana value 2 card, right? Yep. I need to put this in the sideboard. I will definitely be getting a copy of that. That's a good idea. Yeah, Kyle, hit refresh. That has bugged. That bug has happened before. Yeah, Jank, I on my side, I like to control when that happens. That's why I'm running cards like Umbral and Priest of the Forgotten Gods, not Feed the Swarm, Goblin Bombardment. Nice. Excellent. Good, good. And I'm seeing usernames popping up. Rock and roll. Yeah, for real. If y'all have any suggestions, feature suggestions, ideas, that's why we're running this. I appreciate y'all playing it today. Dressing up your little pack pal. Yeah, Jank, I hear you. It stops the tokens from dying in combat, but a lot of times people, they start to learn how to play against this and they're letting the tokens through anyway because they know them dying is worse than them just chip damaging for 1. And so I end up doing a lot of stuff like Phyrexian Altar. Sacking it myself. Ellie. Daryl. Killing it myself. I've got Basilisk Collar in here. I really want a copy of that new... Oh my gosh, I want a new copy. You spelled it wrong, Count. I want a new copy of Goblin Sharpshooter. Dude, talk about one of the coolest looking cards in a long time. You got it. Jennifer, thank you. By the chat. There you go. Kratos, so creative. I don't know if you caught, I just recently played a game with EDH Hijinks and Ailey played Kratos, and it was my first time playing against Kratos, and I was like, oh dude, this maybe has a home in here. I hate that it's 3 red in my Jund deck, but that's not the most impossible thing to get around, especially because the mana base in this deck is really strong. extension permissions. Okay, that's good note, Renaissance. Thank you. Oh, braids, jank. Like, I want my creature tokens to be able to trigger braids. And then Dolmen Gate is just really protecting my primary attackers like Bone Brute, Ellie, Joel. Because this will get some residual value, like I said, from forcing combat, from giving people creatures, from gain and drain style Marionette Apprentice abilities. But really, it does most of its killing through turning things sideways and punching. Garage. Kratos was so fun. Yeah, creative, exactly. That's what happened, was Ailey's deck popped off. I think there was even a part halfway through that game where I was like, okay, I'm starting to think that player removal is our best option for Kratos, gang. Let's go check out the J. Jonah Jameson deck. Hey, chat, by the way, if you're not following me yet, over on Moxfield, scan my Moxfield code. I'll leave this up for a second. Go follow me over on Moxfield. We just crossed 1,000 followers over here on Moxfield. Time to build it to 2. You know what I'm saying? Hey, W, I just bought a copy. I don't know where it is. I literally just bought a copy of Shadow in my last TCG player order. I needed, it was that thing where you've got your cart completely, what do they call it? Optimized. But there's like 1 or 2 sellers where you need to buy another like $2 or $3 card to save that $5 shipping, right? So you end up just paying $2 or $3 more. You get a card, but you don't have to pay for shipping, so it's a little cheaper. Anyway, Shadow the Hedgehog non-foil, one of the vendors that I needed a couple extra bucks on had that, and so I bought a copy. Dude, Shadow in Adia is a lot of fun, man. I've never seen Adia and a lot of fun in the same sentence. Dom Jank texted me as he was watching that game and went, hey, Adia seems miserable. I was like, yeah, ask Dom. I'm pretty sure there's a moment in the episode where he just shot with Adia where I was like, hey, buddy, I just want to let you know I hate that deck. Follow me on Moxfield. There's the QR code. Taking it away. We're going to fix up J. Joel Jameson. See where we're at with that. So this deck is all about Menace, running stuff that just inherently has Menace, as you can see, simply because the keyword is on there. Because J. Jonah Jameson says, whenever a creature you control with menace attacks, all it has to do is attack. I create a treasure token. This is a big red deck. This is a ramp them up, ramp them out, and let it rip. We're trying to get to big things like Endstone, Shamil, the Inner Sun. We're using cards like Ride of the Raging. Like, look how just sexy and pure this deck list is. God, this deck runs Maximum Carnage and Reign of Riches and the Sound of Drums. Anybody ever seen this card? People, don't analyze this card as strong as it is. This is an underrated card. That's what I hate about the thing, is that Adia, once you get to a point, you're just drawing a card and using what you've got on the board. And you're like, yeah, go ahead and remove my whole board. I've been discarding down to hand size the last 3 turns. Enchanted Creature is goated. If Enchanted Creature would deal combat damage to a permanent or player, deals double that damage instead. And you can pay 3 to return this from your graveyard to your hand for no other costs. So good. I love the Sound of Drums. Things like Legend of Roku. Dude, Firebending 4. Yes. Deck only runs 33 lands. But we're doing all of the typical mono tricks. You know, we've got Endless Atlas. Dom, what is that monocolor card that you've been recommending to me so much? I got to get a copy of this. I got to get a copy of that. There's some like Throne that's not Roaming Throne that you've been playing recently, and I've liked how it's been performing. And in a mono red deck, especially mono in a monocolor deck, especially mono red deck, I remember going, that deck would be sick. Past that, this deck runs, or that card would be sick. Past that, this deck runs 27 creatures because when Jonah Jameson enters, I suspect a thing, which means give it... It can't be... No, it can no longer block. And it gets menace. So I can suspect J. Jonah Jameson itself. I can suspect one of my early drops that don't naturally come with menace. I think as I tighten this deck up, this is one that I've only played 3 or 4 times, but it's been solid, so I haven't really felt the need to like take it back to the drawing board. However, Throne of Eldraine, yes, dude. Dom has been playing that. He built a... What deck was that, dude? Mono White? I can't remember what deck it was that you were playing. Mono White, I think. But yeah, I need a copy of that. Throne of Eldraine. Is it a Spanish? Yeah. What the? It's a $32 card? Dude, what commander deck did this come in? WOC? Was there a monocolor deck in this commander set? What the? Cabbage Merchant. That's the one. Wondering which precon this was in? Oh, it wasn't in a precon. Yeah, but WOC is Wilds of Eldraine Commander. But it must have been a non-commander deck card that you could only open in collector boosters. That sucks. Why is this card so expensive? I think I'm gonna go tweet about it. What does Joel do when he's pissed off about a card? He tweets about it. Wasn't in a deck. Hey, this needs a reprint. $32 is too much for this. And then we put a little heart and we're good. Boom. Done. Move to sideboard. Okay, so where are my little stickies? It was only in collector boosters. Yeah, I know that was a thing for a little while. It's when they were still trying to figure out how to, like... You know, they had to have conversations about 2 or 3 years ago. Like, if we're going to be running sets out at this frequency, we're going to lose all of our reprint equity on a bunch of stuff. And so they probably were having discussions about what to do about that, how to change things, how to avoid things, and having exclusive sets like that. Jank, $30 is right at the right level for a secret layer, especially this year. We don't have a premium reprint set coming this year, and it's become glaringly obvious from the first few secret layers that we've had and the first looks at pre-con decks that we've had. That's where reprints are going. Oh, also special guests, bonus sheets, special guests, or what do they call it? Legacy something in the Universes Beyond sets. Anyway, I would imagine that one could still go in a secret layer at $30 this year. It'll be the only thing in that layer that's worth anything if it's constructed like typical. But I could see them doing like, oh, Throne of Eldraine, and we'll do a reprint of, you know, Will Kenrith. We'll do a reprint of, we'll just make it a Kenrith drop. What do we have? Rowan Kenrith is 61 cents. Kenrith's Royal Funeral, 20 cents. Kenrith, $2. But what they can do is give a cool version of King Kenny to also drive that product, because a lot of people play King Ken. And then you put Will, you put Rowan. Done. They also got Will or Rowan. They also got Chroma's Will. That's not what I wanted. Sort date. Here we go. Scion of Peace, 70 cents. Scion of War, 40 cents. They could build a Rowan's Talent. Like, this is a 26 cents card. There's plenty of cards that they could make a layer around that would fill out perfectly thematic and allow you to print the throne. That's how I would do it anyway. I'll tell you what card needs another run is this one right here. Wish I had gone in on this one. Wish I had known. Wish we had known how powerful this card was going to be back when this card was not quite $40 yet. Hidden card wedding ring? That'd be cool. Anyway. -1 sticky fingers. That's an enchantment. Move to sideboard. -1 untimely and 1 Rite of the Raging Flame Storm. Move to sideboard. Untimely is a 2-mana instant. There it is. Move to sideboard. We added Electro. So fun. Assaulting Battery. This card gets so bonkers. People gotta answer it. Don't lose red mana as steps and phases end. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, add a red. When he leaves the battlefield, you can pay X. When he does X to a target player. So fun. And then you've also got Ashling. Not the new 5-color one, but Flame Dancer. Don't lose red mana as steps and phases end. Cast or copy an instant, discard a card, draw. Second time, deal 2 to each opponent. Third time, add 4 red. Obviously not trying to pop off with instants and sorceries. We're running 12. But just being able to dump our red mana into our pool at like EOT right before we go to our turn. These cards are strong. Very strong. What's up, geeks? Good to see you. And then light up the stage. I just wanted some very generic card advantage. Boom. And I figured with Menace deck, I would be very frequently dealing damage to somebody. You had to take him out of Gwen Stacy? Why'd you do that? What do I have in here? Oh, I've also got Chamil in here. Am I down a card right now? What do we got here? There's my Slicer signed by Brooke Trafton, 001 of 001. Told you I like that card. Oh, I've already got a Chamil in here. I don't need 2 Chamils, Joel. I don't need 2 Chamils, Joel. You can't run 2 Chamils. You can't run 2 Chamils, Joel. You can't run 2 Chamils, Joel. Fine. I'll only run the 1 Chamil, the Inner Sun. So lame. I am running Wheel in this deck. That's the other one. Somebody was asking about, I can't believe you have all the duels in all your decks. It's because I own them. Same thing with Wheel of Fortune. I own an OG copy of Wheel of Fortune. Not OG, it's a revised copy. But I own a copy of Wheel of Fortune. And so I just run it in all my red decks. It's that kind of thing. You can almost guarantee that if I'm playing a red deck against you, you're going to see a Wheel of Fortune in that deck if I draw it. Pop off in that game if I draw it. Yeah, Electro's insane. Leyline Tyrant has not made it into this deck yet, though, no. Like I said, this one needs that, like, version 2. This is version 1, and I did not expect this deck to play as well as it did. But turns out Big Red, Rampant Red is just a solid archetype. Regardless. Talk about cards that people really don't think about, know about. but are so good. Especially in this Menace deck. Aish. Yeah, I agree, Aboro. I like Wheel of Misfortune better, personally. But it's kind of a flex, you know what I'm saying? In this Menace deck, at the beginning of combat on your turn, scry 1, then exile top card of your library. You can play that card this turn, so you've already got card advantage there. And then when you exile a card this way, target creature you control gets +X/+O, where X is the card's mana value. Dude, given our Menace creatures, even +2, +3, +4. And if we're lucky, +5 or 6. Oh, baby. I love Kate Sith. One of my favorite underrated cards from Final Fantasy. Kazul, like, gotta run Kazul. Yeah, Garage, that's probably safe. I, ran out a bunch of, like, Spider-Man treatment-y stuff that will end up probably getting chopped. Stuff like Hedron Archive. Do I need more ramp that turns into card draw? I don't know. We'll see. Count on Luck. Seems solid. If I'm not going to run it in mono red, where the heck am I going to run it? You know what I'm saying? But cards that I don't have a ton of faith in making it to version 2 or 3 are still in here. I expect to come up the first time I get really super land screwed. I'll come up to like 35 lands instead of 33. Did I ever go to gigabytes? Are you talking about... Is that an LGS? You talking about the LGS gigabytes? Up in... It's not Marietta. Where is it? It's up that side of Atlanta, though, right? North side, northwest side of Atlanta? Or is it on the northeast side? Yeah, I think I've been, Trace. I think I've been once. I think I went... I don't know if Spec's in chat. I think I went with Spec one time to go to the Duskmorn pre-release. Zaber. Yeah, see? I'm with Razib. Who's gonna know? Unless I try and resolve the second Shamil, nobody's gonna know. And if somebody thought seizes me while I've got 2 in my hand, I just eat one really fast. Yeah, the one up in Marietta. Yeah, Gigabytes is a sick store. I love an LGS that has tables for every game. This LGS, chat, if you're not familiar, has great wargaming tables that players can stand at, because like Warhammer players would prefer to stand at tables that are like chest high, that are like, abdomen high. They've got a big section of those. They've also got some circle D&D tables. They've got a whole other section of the store that's just, typical LGS style TCG gaming tables. And then they also have a restaurant, and then also got the nerd store, all kind of, all in one. Really cool LGS. Okay, so this deck is at the very least pretty good. No, at the very least ready. I'm not sure if it's pretty good yet. Yeah, so I probably need to get some more play testing in with this one. So I think I'm going to, this on my active roster. Yep, this one's going to stay on the active roster for now, because this one needs some play testing on the real. Get it to a strong version 2, and then see where we're at with this one. Dom, when are we shooting again next? Okay, so I've got Joel done. I've got Tevel ready for... I need to go look through my collection, basically. What else do we have? Oh, Morcant. Let's look at Morcant real fast. I don't think we're going to change anything about Morcant. Most of the games that I've played with Morcant have been silly. Just like smack fests. Nobody wants to play against her. I was 100% convinced that this deck was going to be powered up to 4. It did have one clunky game. May or June, January, February, March, April, May. Okay, so we'll have not only Turtles, but we'll have probably Strixhaven by then, huh? So we'll have a lot of options. We're getting 1 precon, I think, from TMNT. We're getting 5 from Strixhaven with Lieutenant Commanders. So you're going to look at basically 10 new commanders automatically added. Some of them will be similar to each other, but you know how they make those things. They're a little different. Like, there's a difference between how you would build Anti-Ul, and there's a difference between how you build the Scarecrow King. Yeah, I get that. I understand that, because there's a whole once you get up into the high level play of High Perfect Morcant, you don't just want to run Morcant out on turn 3, on turn 4, whenever you can play her, depending on your ramp. You can also play her as a board wipe. Elves make so much mana so easily. It's so simple to get up to 8 to 10 mana at your beck and call with this deck. And so then you can play it like a board wipe. Play High Perfect Morcant. Everybody has to blight. Play something like put an elf onto the battlefield for each elf you control with Elven Ambush. Boom. 8 mana board wipe. Drace, I have personally enjoyed... I haven't played Scarecrow yet. I've played probably 4 games with Antiul and upgraded the deck a little bit every time. That deck has been fine to me. I was actively moving toward building Joel and Ellie. And so a Jund deck was already kind of in my future. And so I think I was probably biased against it. But I will say, watching the games of Scarecrow get played, I feel like that deck plays better. I feel like that commander is better just because it puts the -1 counter on itself as soon as it enters, wherever you want it. And then it steals things. And you can ask the dirty, sinful Adia players that are in my fucking chat right now. Theft is not good. Theft is against the human spirit. I don't think this deck needs much touch right now. I think that this deck could use some card draw. That's been a really consistent problem with it. Yeah, give it a shot. Drace, the cool thing about that deck is that both commanders... The support that those commanders need had to be printed into the decks, or it was also scarce that it was going to be expensive and prohibitive, and nobody was going to want to deal with it. And so what that means is that for the deck, I was talking about this with Dom last week, and he was like, I don't have the cards to upgrade that deck. I was like, dude, the way that it's built, the specific synergy cards are all in there. You're just upgrading like game changers and stuff. You're just putting, Farseek in there. Right? 3 visits. That's the kind of upgrades that you have to do on that Jund deck, and that's it. You don't even really have to do that. Both of those decks had really good experience out of the box. Even the 5-color deck, and I stand corrected. I was very low on that out of the who is in chat saying theft is fun? Stop. Get out of here. And so you should be able to, Drace, just swap the Scarecrow in and not really have to change anything else, and get a good sense of if you like that commander or not. Land count on this one is at 37. I could probably come down a couple lands, right? What's my average CMC? Where is... There we go. 2.26 with lands. Yeah. Probably 35. 35 might be good for this one. Add 2 more pieces of card draw. Draw cards. Sort EDH rec. I want to draw more than 1. Tap 4 Max just pulled a gizmo. Oh, nice. Hell yeah. We're getting some rare pulls in there. All right, I'm liking some of the customizations too. Quantum got the gamer ears and the game controller. Look, man, I'm a good deck builder. I just cut lands when I need room. Oh, why am I not running Skull Clamp in this deck? There you go, chat. We're done. We'll run Skull Clamp and maybe Sylvan Library when it's all said and done. Cut 2 lands, 1 Skull Clamp, 1 Sylvan Library. What do you think? Rishkars is interesting, but I just don't think it works. And then I've already got Return to the Wild Speaker because I don't run a human in this deck, so both modes are in play. Bar, how is your Marlin? Oh, you finished it this week. Have you gotten a playtest with it? Elmo, I will tell you, I mean, you see, even with a ramp deck here, let me put these in the sideboard. Even with a ramp deck here running 37 lands, that has just become so consistent for me. I think my lowest land count is the mono red deck at 33. And that's simply because it's so all in of a deck. My commander ramps me off of turn 3. So it's like basically having a little baby mana rock in the command zone. And then if I get to untap with my commander, I'm attacking with 1, 2, 3 Menacers maybe. Playing my 4th land, 3rd land, hopefully, 4th land, hopefully. And then I'm ramping up to, you know, if I've still got my treasure token, I've got access in the second main to like 6 to 8 mana. And so it's like, just start trying to resolve some big value stuff like Endstone or like Shamil. I just, in that deck, I found myself rather drawing heat than necessarily making my land drop every turn, and just know that it's a weakness if Dom does what Dom does and remove all my stuff before I even really get to play the game, you know. Skull Clamp. Did my Sylvan Library go to considering? Is that where I put it? Look at all these elves I've got in considering I need to get. I don't have many of these elves. I've got a Bloom Tender. I want more of these. Like, these 4 are almost immediate for me. I want to get them and replace some stuff. Devoted Druid, Bloom Tender. I'm low on Bloom Tender in this deck for obvious reasons. But Jiraga would even be good here. Llanowar Dead. Anything that's going to let me recast Morcant, because it's going to get removed. To chat's point, it's getting removed. Man, how sick would that be in foil? Old Onslaught foil uncommon with all of that like light green white on that art. Oh yeah, and this is one. This was from that scene box. There were some good elves from that scene box. And then it's like, do we start going this route, right? This is the eventuality. Is, oh, I know the Morcant deck. It's a 4. I'm just going to play against it like it's a 4. It's like, okay, I'll start building it like it's a 4. We're going to start proliferating people's poison counters. Yeah, I put this here. I need to move this to sideboard. Okay, so that also active. Okay, so I've got room for basically one more deck. I need to clean up the Tevel deck. Let's look at my... What should be my last one? Chat, I need y'all to help me pick my last current... Oh, is it probably Hearthhull? I just pulled Hearthhull back out for shooting last weekend. I hadn't played it in a couple months. Oh yeah, Bar. I've got Galadrim Ambush on my wish list. Check this. This is a deck where it's like you can... That's the beauty of elves, is there have been so many elves. Like, look at the quality of elf in these 38 creatures I've already got. It's crazy to look at all of these elves and go, man, quality's pretty high elf to elf here. You're going to have some decisions to make as far as cuts, but then go to your sideboard or go to your considering and look at the damn quality of elf here. There's just a high quality of elves across the board. Yeah, Jank, that's why I'm like, I don't know. Maybe Hearthhull just stays on the bench for a while. Galadrim Brigade is in there. Galadrim Ambush is in there. Also this one. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. Create a number of 1/1 green elf warrior creature tokens equal to the amount of excess damage dealt this way. Chat. For 3 mana, one-sided fight that can potentially create elves to trigger our Morcant. So it's like I kill a thing, and then also you have to blight 2. Gotta get a copy of that. And then stuff like Spy Masters, just because our commander proliferates. I have found, I should say, in my playtesting this, that I really want to get ASAP 1+1 counter on every creature I control, because when I activate High Perfect Morcant's ability to tap 3 untapped elves I control and proliferate at sorcery speed, I want more targets for the proliferation. I don't want to just be proliferating their -1 counters or their poison counters. It's also beneficial if at the same time, because there's no limit on how much you can proliferate with your 1 proliferate trigger. Yeah, I need more elementals, birds, and Eldrazi. Yeah, we didn't have a few sets specifically dedicated to the Eldrazi creature type. Dwynnin and N-Rays, easy cuts. So this has been a finisher for me, obviously. That makes sense why it's in there, right? Although I don't know if I need it. And then Dwynnin. Oh, you don't like the... I mean, Dwynnin attacks triggers useless. It's just that Anthem. Yeah, I could see that being a cut. Good call. Buzz, that could be a good way to build it. I was like so anti-poison with the first build of this, because I was doing that thing where you have a powerful commander and you're like, oh, I'm building it less powerful. I don't have poison in here. It's like Dom's theft deck. I'm not gonna keep your things. Still rough. Same thing with Morcant. I'm not poisoning people. Duh. Elven Chorus, no. Oh, Tribute to the World Tree is a really good idea, dude. See, this is why I do this in front of y'all, because y'all are smarter than me. Tribute to the World Tree is a very good idea. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card if its power is 3 or greater. Oh, yeah, dude. Otherwise, drop 2 1/1 counters on it. Brother. It's always that Urza. What are you talking about? This card has played stronger in this deck than I thought it would. I have only ever, like, don't run this in decks where you're not consistently getting creatures up to 7 power, but, dude, this card's ridiculous. Worldly Tutor is my only game changer in here right now. Is game changer. What else could we run in here? Biorhythm. Is this a Biorhythm deck? Yeah, Tron. I know. That's what happens. It's like power creep of your own commanders, right? HF Rock. Oh, nice. Rock's got the hat and the rain slick coat. Nice, dude. Do you think Great Hinge should be a game changer, Omo? I don't know. It's right on that line. Oh, man. I mean, Bob's your uncle on choices here. Oh, it'd be fun to run Natural Order. I think Natural Order would be a good game changer for this one. That kind of falls into that lane I was talking about where I'm building commander decks. I want to find cards like, obviously all of these are good in this deck to some degree, right? You can make it good if it's not just automatically good as far as game changers go. But Natural Order fits hard in this deck. Also kind of makes more, who was saying to cut N-Rays? Kind of makes more of an argument for a card like N-Rays to be in there, because I can just go get it. Oh, I see what you're saying, creative. Yeah, it's like somebody playing a Ur-Dragon deck or playing a Sliver deck. It's like, dude, unless you literally are just playing cards that aren't legal and you can't cast your cards, it's going to be good. Casting cards in that deck is going to win. All you have to do is cast things. I feel like Natural Order, Seedborn Muse would go really well in here. I'm already running Worldly Tutor. Survival of the Fittest. Choose and discard a card. Go get a creature. Put it into my hand. That's cool. It's very expensive. What other versions of Natural Order are there? I don't like that version. That's cool art. Chat, if you hit ++ when you search a card's name, it'll automatically show you all printings of that on Scryfall. Little fun fact. Oh, I see. And these are probably... Yeah, I got the... I know I've got a version. I know I've got a copy of this. Yep, I'm going to run natural order in this deck, faux show. And then I guess this is my biorhythm deck, right? Oh, Celsius, let me tell you. It's the games where Dionys gets resolved that are the worst games to play against Morcant. It's the games where Dionys gets resolved that are the worst games of Elf game. If you have to play against Elf game, seeing a Dionys resolved is like, oh my god. We have to kill that before they untap. Okay, so we're keeping Morcant on the active. That deck's also ready to roll. Razzle Dazzle. I took Stella Lee apart completely. I've got In Spirit. It's very proliferate, but it is the 3 colors that the Morcant deck is not. I also think it might be time to bring Bumbleflower and Ultimate Spider-Man together. So my idea with this is that Bumbleflower and Ultimate Spider-Man play very similarly in that it's about +1 counters and basically attacking. The Spider-Man deck is more aggressive and has a strong legendary sub-theme because of the commander's text, whereas the Bumbleflower deck, I've built it a little bit more group huggy, but a little more pillow forty because I'm in blue and white. And so I know how much ire this commander draws. And so this is like Ghostly Prison, Teferi's Protection, prevent combat damage, so much of that. But the idea that I've had ever since I've been playing Spider-Man, because I haven't revisited Bumbleflower in about half a year or so, I'd like to make Bumbleflower non-legendary Kindred, put all of my relevant green and white legends that have to do with +1 counters into Spider-Man. That actually sounds like it would take a whole stream, because I'm going to lay both decks out and I want to situate them between themselves. So that might take a little while. But that's an option for my 5th. Master has Monklink. I could also just put the Dragon deck. Teamer Dragons. This is the current build of the Teamer Dragon deck. What am I missing? Let me see my EDH regs here. Expected at most 1 copy of Farseek. Got 2. Okay. So I must have... Hey, Dom, I'm running 2 copies of Farseek, apparently. Is that true? I was playing with an illegal deck, dude. There's why. Here it is. Is this for real right now? How did I not even notice it the first time when I put the deck list in? Put the Joel deck away. Yeah, dude, none of my decks did anything. I played the worst commander of my life this weekend. I couldn't do nothing. Tevel, we will return. I need some new sleeves for you, brother. Probably use those new Landfall series. You reported me to Gavin? Dude, I'm gonna not be allowed. That's it. Full sentence stop. I'm not gonna be allowed. It's all good. I've got a reprocess and from Hugh and a tectonic reformation that I need to put into this deck anyway, so. An illegal second Farseek. It's pretty tricky in the Landfall deck, right? Run 2 Farseeks, secret tech. Y'all just suck at this game and I'm good. That's what it comes down to. There's a Skull Prophet. Y'all should consider being better at this and running 2 copies of Farseek in your landfall deck. There's the Afterlife from the Loam. That's where it went. Kovold. Farseek number 1. Overlord, Blasphemous Act, Rising Explorer, Braids, Ramanap, Lands, Reanimate, Greaves. There's a cool copy of Greaves. What deck was I saying I wanted a cool copy of Greaves in? Oh, my Joel deck. Oh, yeah, dude. I have those in here because they're Galaxy Foil and this is like a spaceship deck, but I might transfer those over. Soul of Windgrace, Twilight Mire. You know, honestly, Jank, this doesn't feel like 2 Jund decks. This feels like 2 completely separate things just because they're so dissimilar. This is so landfall based and is running all the land and graveyard land cards. But the Joel and Ellie deck is running so many token-centric stuff that it's like very much 2 different flavors of Jund overall. Famished World Sire. Explore. Bantu. So fun to run God Eternal Bantu in this deck. I think I said cut that, but it's been one of the cards that made it back into the deck for me. Safekeeper. Grapple. 3 visits. There's the Arcane Signet to match the other. Gitrog. Grizzly. Spring Blue. Aftermath. What is Seedborn Muse, one of the game changers in here, and then there's that Soul Rain. Oh, gracious. How pretty. Those definitely should go in the Joel deck, right? Pimp out the deck of my name. Yeah, so they are similar colors, but they play so differently. There's not even a ton of crossover. The main crossover... Manifoil. The main crossover is pet cards, which I'm always going to love seeing my pet cards, right? Like, I'm never going to be sad about resolving a Braids Arisen Nightmare. I'm always going to be into that. Oh, yeah, and I get to run... I did put this in there. I got a foil Obnixilis. Look at that art, dude. Like, it's a mid card. It's a mid plus card, right? It's decent. But that is S plus top tier art on Abi the Fallen. Definitely running just because it's a cool card to look at and resolve. Okay, so it's... I mean, I only have 1 copy of Farseek. So now I have to figure out which card I'm freaking missing. Probably Famished World Sire if I had to guess. Called it. That was a last minute addition. So I wonder if I did notice this, Dom, right before or right when I was verifying the deck list, and I changed it right before and just never changed it here. That has to have been what happened. So it wasn't illegal after all. Field of the Dead. That's Dom's Field of the Dead. I owe you for that field still. Loot. Ice Till. Terra Sunder, where that went. Obviously. And the Navindo Brush Razor. So you know what happened? Is the Hearthhold deck... The Hearthhold deck cannibalized cards from the Tevil deck. Famished World Sire is so fun. I love that card. Just dig it in there. Oh wait, this is the Dragon list. I need to look at the Hearthhold list. It's the Dragon list that had 2 copies of Farseek. Oh my god. Okay. I am trying to do 2 things at once here. And neither of them well. Commander Bench. Hearthhold. Good lord. Okay. Teamer Dragons could still have a Farseek. A second Farseek. Let's go check. Hearthhold just became the top Jund commander. I like good commanders. What can I say? I'm good at looking at a commander and going, that's going to be good. Okay, so there's one Is it Farseek? No, it's It is, right? Yeah, I had 2 copies of Farseek in here. So there's 1. Growth Spiral. I did transfer this over into the exclusive Magicon Atlanta sleeves from last con. Little Draco Genesis and the Dragon Shields. Looking super sexy. Got Bahamut. I mean, the thing is like, okay, so I was running 2 copies of Farseek in here. Dom. So illegal. Whoa! Got it. That's the copy from... Thought I had 3 for a second. Okay, so we don't need multiple copies of Farseek. That's proven. But the beauty is in this deck is that it's got a strong sideboard just chilling. And so I can just pick any of this stuff. Took all that out, actually. Should I run 2 Rampant Growths, maybe? I could run double Rampant Growth. Nobody will know. Let's just run Fire Spitter Whelp for now. I'm going to chop this copy of Farseek and add Fire Spitter Whelp in there for now, and we'll figure it out another day, because I'm not keeping this deck active currently. But I do want to keep it together, because it's always nice to be able to just be like, oh yeah, here's the Dragons deck. It's not going to be on the active roster. You have a sweet box for it, though, from Baron of Dice. Yeah. My sweet dragon deck box. From Baron of Dice, sponsor of Garage the Gathering. Okay. Luckily, the dragon deck didn't do anything, so... we never even got to see the second copy of Farseek. Alright, at the very least, this one is... let me add... oh. Oh, nope, it's not Dragon Whelp. What did I add? There it is, Fire Spitter Whelp. Okay. Put Teamer Dragons away for a while. And then we'll go to spreading the seed. Here we go. What are we running as far as brackets? No, we got Crop Rotation, Seedborn Muse, and Field of the Dead for Game Changers in this one. So that's set up. Is this one even in need of anything? This deck is pretty stacked for like top of bracket 3. $40 lands. Yeah, I mean, I just don't think there's anything else I want to touch with this right now. Anybody play this? Anybody seeing any glaring misses? Is Tectonic Split in there? Are you talking about the Reformation one that gives it all, gives everything cycling? Or something else? Garage Chat, thank you. Chat, if you're hanging out, hit that like button. And yo, if you haven't gotten in on Packpack, go download that extension. If you got a browser up, if you're watching me on your second monitor right now. You talking about this card count? No, probably not, right? Probably not won you a game or anything. Go download Packpack. Start earning points for free right now. Open some packs here on stream and dress up your little pack pal. Yeah, I think Hearthhole is going to be my last active deck for now, chat. I'm going to wrap out in about 10 minutes. If you got packs you want to open here today, go ahead and send them in now. I'll be back live tomorrow night. We'll be playing Commander with the Patreon. And also running Packpack. So you can come back, earn some more points, hang out, Get some packs. You know how it goes. Avatar, huh? Tectonic Reformation is what you called it. I'm probably gonna recognize it. Tectonic Ref. I've been so like feeling sick, chat. It's from C20. Is it not? Oh shit, actually. No, that's just okay. Hang on. Tectonic split. Jesus. I promise I know words. Additional cast to cost, sack half the engine control. Oh yeah. Just triggers Hearthhole like crazy, right? Greater Gargadon. Gargadin? Oh yeah, nice. That is a cool one. Because it's basically just at will, right? As long as it's suspended, you can do that 10 times. If you want to do it immediately. So it's pay 1 red, sack 10 lands at its floor. You got commander out, you're rocking and rolling. Yeah, that's cool. Add to considering for show. So my roster, commander bench, we're going to move Hearthhold to the roster. Roster. And there we go. Man, does he like black, red, or green, chat? Can you tell? I'm a little into black and green and red, if you can't tell. Holy moly. Right now, these two, Dami Mami Awuga and You're a Menace, those are going to be the two that I'm primarily playing, I think, tomorrow night. Especially if Jank plays. If Jank plays, I'm going to whip Morkant out and just... If I can get Jank to quit Magic the Gathering. That's a successful Morkant. There's the active roster, chat. Look at those colors. What is he doing? Have I tried dismantling Hearthhole and doing anything else? Like playing Xbox? Is that what you're talking about? Like literally doing anything else? Or just taking Hearthhole apart? I want to get more plays in with Hearthhole. I didn't play with it a ton when I put it together, and I had so many cards for it to upgrade it right out of the gate. And I just haven't played it much. The Joel deck is going to be like probably my least played active deck right now. It's going to be like Dahada for me. Dahada is technically on my active roster, but those two are just becoming Dahada's already there, but I think the Joel deck is going to be an absolute signature deck for me. And so it's always going to be kind of present. I'll tell you, the Hearthhole and the Tevil deck, a little similar for me. Both benefit from, you know, Crucible of Worlds. Both benefit from Conduit of Worlds. It's just the red version or the blue version of the similar deck. So might be playing a lot of Hearthhole toward putting it back on the bench for a while. But I've been wanting to revisit those two decks in particular, Tevil and Hearthhole. So it's a good time to play them. Yeah, typically Dahada provides my white pip in my roster. Let's see what's on my bench that has white in it. Dahada, In Spirit, Spider-Verse. Yeah, see, I'm coming off of white in every deck. Bro, there was definitely a time last year where my active roster had Dahada, In Spirit, Ultimate Spider-Man, and Bumbleflower on it. These two decks ended up being super similar. It's interesting. I move, Kyo, what's up? I kind of move among like archetypes, entire color segments. Because I'm like, do any of my decks have white? Look at how many white pips there are down from number 3 on. I was only playing decks with white in them last year. I wasn't playing a ton of black last year, actually. Buster, Elsha, sorry, Cloud, Elsha, Bumbleflower, Elevare, Spider-Man. You're a Bant baby, Niv. I got you. I think I'm a Mardu baby at my core. Maybe a Jund baby. Nah, I don't need a Loro. Loro sucks, man. I've also got these. So Joel's and Commander can go away. That deck ended up manifesting in a different place. Let's see what I've been under constructing but not playing. So I have been playing Dangerously Chic. This is not an under constructed. This is more of like a kind of on the Commander bench, but also maybe active. Liaise is just kind of a go-to. I put that together finally. Floating Man. What is this? Ah, I was gonna build Electro Ashling because this was when I was so in love with these two. I was like, I'm gonna build these two and build an Ozai deck. Never got around to building the Ozai deck, but as you can see, 49 cards into it. It's pretty well built. Oh yeah, dude, big Rakdos mana. I'm just so heavy Rakdos right now. This deck is basically built. It just needs a little filling out. How many? Okay, I'm only running 2 Game Changers right now. Chrome Mox and Jessica's Will. And then, oh, I was going to build this one too. You wouldn't like me when I'm Yuri Angry? Whenever you play a land from exile or cast a spell from exile, gain 2. 2 mana commander that you can tap to look at the top card of your library, exile it face down, and then you can tap until end of turn you can play cards exile with Yuri Anger. And they're 2 less to cast. That seems kind of cool. Kind of twitchy. Plus, it's kind of cool that I'm like by trade, I make videos about a TCG. And this, I don't know who this character is from Final Fantasy XIV, but it looks like maybe Yuri Anger has something to do with cards, right? It's kind of on theme. Get some good like tappy, untappy business going. Do a little blinky cast from exile kind of thing with Vega and Ranar. Be fun. High Evolutionary. Me and Jank have been talking about this deck for months. Whenever the Rani enters the battlefield or attacks, create a red aura enchantment token named Mark of the Rani attached to another target creature. That token has enchant creature, and enchanted creature has 2/2 and goaded. Then whenever a goaded creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, investigate. So I was going to theme this around the High Evolutionary from Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Doing experiments, turning creatures against each other. You can tell it's very goad heavy. That's why I haven't really gone in on it, because I've got goad decks right now. Yeah, the Rani's cool. One of those commanders that I just fully missed from Doctor Who because I didn't play Doctor Who. I didn't buy a single pack of Doctor Who. I've never ever purchased a single product from Doctor Who. You know how rare that is for me? I'll skip sets for sure and like just buy singles or just buy one deck or something like that for the ones that I'm not. Obviously, if I'm partnered with Wizards on it, they give me stuff to make all my videos with, but I, with that set, just did not buy a single bit of any of it. And then this deck is, I'm so excited. I think I'm going to do a monocolor thing this summer as we get to the Marvel decks and make my active 5 roster all 5 monocolor decks to bring to one of the cons. When is Vegas? Is that May or June? No commander decks even. What did I say, Mark Mason? Mystic Touristic, I just wasn't a Doctor Who fan, honestly. And I'd have to go back and look at what was happening around that time in my life, see if there was something else that was drawing my attention away. So I wasn't getting to put as much time on Magic on top of just doing it. Also, doing it full-time. Also, I don't know if I was full-time at that point either. And so that was a little different coverage as well. I Oh no, I didn't even buy the commander decks, Mark Mason. But I have started buying more and more singles. That card, Drums of War, whatever that sound of drums, whatever that card is that I recommended from earlier, that's a Doctor Who card. I've talked to Jenk about this a couple times too. Just it feels like every single set while I'm building a deck, I end up finding some Doctor Who card that's like clutching it that I feel like I've never seen before. I've been playing a lot of +1 counter decks. You know, that guy, Danny. I'm not even sure the whole card's name, but... Oh, Danny Pink? Is that a thing? I don't know. There's a guy named Danny from Doctor Who that's really good in +1 counter decks. Count, I'm at the Westgate. We actually just pulled the trigger on that and booked at Westgate. We were going to look at... Or we were going to go to Resorts World, because so many people lobby-conned at Resorts World last year. But Westgate was like $700 cheaper. $700 cheaper for the weekend. Flood of Mars is a cool card. It's interesting. I mean, you got to know when you're resolving that. It's like, all right, we are warping the game. The game is about to be warped. Yes, Danny Pink, dude. That Danny Pink card is good in +1 counter decks. Mystic, I actually played... Is Davros the Villainous Choice deck? I played against... Okay, Count, so we'll probably be coming over there to hang out with you at Resorts World. Yeah. Especially if we're able to get over there early enough to take the Tesla loop there. I know it'll be shut down by the time we want to go back, but saving on the one trip there would be nice. Oh, is that the Arya Stark card, Buzz? I was going to come back to that. Yeah, I remember reading me. Let's read me. I remember reading me and being like, it's cute. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1 counter, first strike, vigilance, or menace counter on me, the immortal. Counters remain on me as it moves to any zone other than its... That's cool. You may cast me from your graveyard by discarding 2 cards in addition to paying its other costs. That's very interesting. No commander tax ever. You just got to get up to 5, which is not difficult with Teamer. Is that actually the actress from Game of Thrones? That was another weird part of this set, was that you had real actors. I mean, it's going to happen more and more. It is what it is. Is there a cool version of me? No. Was it probably Surge, is it? That's interesting. Does Plane Chess... Yeah, it is her. Yes, it's so weird to me. All right, I need y'all to answer a poll for me. Plane Chase. Good or fun or sucks? We'll go fun or sucks. Nothing in between. Fun. Sucks. All right, chat. Answer that poll for me. Hit that like button when you get your answer in if you haven't already. Appreciate you. Plane Chase. I have... the entire thing. I've got this thing. It's not the... It doesn't have the newer ones from Doctor Who, but this is from the anthology, so I've got, like, pretty much any plane that I would ever need. I suggested playing this on Garage, but got pushback from 2 people saying that Plane Chase sucked. And I don't know. Plane Chase is great when the plane helps you. It sucks when it helps someone else. Yeah, I was thinking of modifying the rules a little bit, like having... Aren't there some cards that you could run in your 99 that specifically play with the Plane Chase die and stuff like that? Like, it'd be cool to come up with a custom version of it where those are available to everyone in some kind of alternate shared command zone. Oh, that's interesting. Putting a random stack in the center, having one shared deck. Yeah. I'm messing around with that. Yeah, for sure, Jank. But we've done stuff like that, right? Like we've played. What is that Final Fantasy thing that we played? That Dom got us to play? It was like an actual card game from Final Fantasy, but we played it as a format in Commander, and we didn't know what to expect. We were like, this could suck, this could be dope, but it ended up being super fun. Also got a little lucky with a bunch of non-hits in that, but you know, was what it was. Triple Triad, yeah. We've played versions like that, and I think that there's a mana rock that lets you roll the die. There you go. Yeah, so like that could be fun code to kind of figure out put the mana rock that lets you roll the die in the, you know, in a shared command zone. Everybody can cast it once, or if it gets removed, they don't get to do it again, etc. Whatever, some version of that. And then also something that sort of like expedites the plane changing a lot. Because yeah, as I was reading through them, Jank, I did get the sense that some decks, it's going to be absolutely insane to have the benefit of the plane. And then some decks, it'll be either irrelevant or it won't affect anything at all. And you want it to be a little bit more unified experience. Like we're playing Chaos Magic for sure. But I think that if you could kind of hone it in a little bit and make sure that there's nobody that's just going to get completely punked. I mean, maybe you could honestly, I could go through here and like curate a deck of 30 or 40 more planes than we'll ever go through, and just make it like that. But and make sure I'm not putting any super feels bads in there for any of the decks that are playing. But also, I think it could be cool to figure out a way to expedite the swap of the plane so that we're constantly, it's just constant Chaos Magic. And even if we're on a plane that like really benefits me or really benefits Dom this turn, you know, everybody doesn't have to start slamming all of their actual game resources into trying to change the plane. We can figure out a way for that to more easily happen. Playing 3 or 4 times, never enjoyed it. Yeah, Garage, I hear you. I hear you. I don't think as it is, it's super interesting, or would it be? It would be more popular, right? But I think with the right sort of like, this is our version of Plane Chase, we provide access to the cards that are good for the sub format, either by saying, hey, here are those mana rocks. What are they? 2 or 3 mana probably. Here are those mana rocks. Swap out your Arcane Signet for this. Or you have them kind of like centrally located. Yeah, Niv, I mean, if you that's a good point. And so the counter to that is, well, let's get it over and done, you know? If somebody hits a plane that's like crazy for their deck, just let it ride. Chad, I appreciate y'all hanging out and testing Packpack for the first time today, sitting with me and helping me get my decks back up to snuff. I still feel all over the place with my Commander decks, but at the very least right now, I feel like I have a handle on where I want to focus, my 5 decks that I want to focus on playing and clean them up. I will be back live for Fight Night tomorrow night. Patrons, I'll see you for that. If you want to get in and play some Commander with us, go join the Patreon. New video tomorrow. Oh, I've got a little yap video about my thoughts on the BNR from earlier this week, because for being such a non-announcement, it was kind of like, it felt like there was a lot that would maybe potentially happen, and then like not a lot at all happened. I think that it told us a lot more than people are giving it credit for. So I've just been so busy this week, that video would have already been out, but you know how it goes. Ooh, Arch Enemy Plane Chase. That's interesting. Yeah, I could see that, Garage. But I think there's some merit in cleaning it up a little bit. If we're playing the funny formats, figuring out ways to house rule it to make it a little quicker and make it less stagnant. Yeah, it's something I'm putting my head on. Appreciate y'all. See y'all tomorrow night. Love you, mean it. Catch you soon.